Hi there, it's Michele of themindfulartist.com and micheleteberge.com. And here on YouTube, I like to share a lot about the mindset of the artist, the creative process, and also I have some painting tutorials. Today, I want to follow up on a video I made earlier called That Pernicious Inner Critic. I wanted to give you some specific tips that I've learned for dealing with my inner critic and that I've taught my students so that you can hopefully create in the way that you want to create. I think that's really important, and that's why I spend my time making these videos. I really want to support other people in being creative. So it's really important to address the inner critic. I think in my really young days, I used to just sort of like blast on by it by like blaring music or eating when I wasn't hungry and just trying to like stuff the feelings and ignore the feelings. And that is a temporary strategy, but it's not a successful strategy because you don't really address it. You're just sort of blasting past it. What I found is that it's really helpful to identify the thoughts and to pay attention and to be present and to be mindful. And I talk a lot about meditation and how that's influenced me as a creative person and how it's helped a lot as a creative person. A lot of it is just learning to sit and be still with uncomfortable feelings. And so if you have trouble with that, I find meditation is a good start. And I do have a really easy, short 5-minute meditation. There's a longish intro, but the meditation itself is only 5 minutes. And I have some meditations guided meditations. That's a little different, but just sitting and being still is really important practice. So if you feel uncomfortable, what I invite you to do at this time that you're feeling that critical voice, those doubts, those feelings of unworthiness, whatever it is that's making it hard for you to make your art, is to just sit and be present and to witness, to bear witness to what's going on inside. And what really helps is to tune into the body and just listen and feel the body. I close my eyes a lot because it helps me to go inward and tune out the outside world and feel into it. Where is there discomfort somewhere in the body? Is there tension? And not trying to change anything, just being present and also breathing, being present with the breath. And it might just help to just take a few breaths and to just be with those breaths. Now, sometimes it also helps to sort of write out what's going on in your head, because sometimes getting it out of your head and on the page, you might see that it's slightly ridiculous or at least not founded or based on much. And I just wanted to share, actually first what I was going to say is sometimes another technique that I've taught when I used to do the Mindful Artist program is I would suggest having a journal and setting a timer. This is definitely for those of us who the inner critic is really loud and really majorly impacting our ability to make art. And it might seem a little extreme to set a timer while you're working, but if you're in the flow, then you don't need this technique if that's going to interrupt your flow. But what happens is, I remember from my early days, I had immediately upon graduating from my undergraduate programs, I was really, really struggling in the studio. It was really hard. I'd feel extreme fatigue. It would just make me really tired, or I'd have these crushing voices in my head, just critical voices all the time. It just made it almost impossible to create. And in that type of instance, I would say setting a timer so you stop, because what happens is sometimes you're working, and again, if we haven't cultivated mindfulness yet, it's just like a muscle. It's just like working out at a gym or something like that. Like the first time you're going to take those lighter weights, it's going to be hard. But as you practice, you get stronger and stronger. And the same too with our mindset and our mindfulness practice. it gets easier. It's really hard in the beginning sometimes to be present, to stay present, but as we get more practice with it and we stay with it and we're consistent, it gets easier. So if you haven't developed that mindfulness, that's okay. That's really pretty normal. But just know that you might be having things building up and you don't notice them till they get really loud. And that's what the timer is for. Because I would like for you to set a timer and pause when that timer goes off and ask yourself, what was I just thinking now? What was going on? How does my body feel right now? Am I tense? Am I joyful? Am I comfortable? Am I anxious? And just, again, be present. And it helps to write it down on a piece of paper. So let's just give a random example. You know, you're painting a fish or whatever, picture of a fish. And you're painting along and, you know, mixing your colors and doing stuff. Meanwhile, this inner critic is like giving a constant commentary, but you're busy painting, so you don't notice. It's like, that doesn't look like a fish. What are you thinking? That doesn't even look like scales. Who would want to see this? This is ridiculous. You should be more this. It should be more that, or whatever. It just goes on, and it's super creative in its ability to find things to criticize. No matter what you do, it will find fault. So you'll hear the timer, and then you stop. And you might not remember all of it. Sometimes it's like waking up in the morning and trying to remember dream. You can only grasp little bits, but have a piece of paper right next to where you're working or your journal and just start writing down what you remember and let it flow and let it flow and just observe. So don't get caught up in it, and don't criticize the inner critic and say, you're so mean, why are you bothering me? Just write it out super neutrally, as if you were an uninterested party. You were neither your creative self nor your inner critic. You're just observing like a judge. And you're just, a judge in a court, you know, not like a judgmental judge. Okay, that doesn't even make sense, but I think you get the gist. So just write it out. And I find that just by creating that distance, by being really present, it can be enormously helpful. If you try that, let me know how it goes. I would really be curious, and I care very much about you, and I care about your creative process. And I would also know those who are listening who have some strategies that have worked for dealing with your inner critic, please share them below. That's what's so exciting about YouTube and this present world we live in, is that this channel is not about me. It's about all of us who are collecting and congregating around these ideas that I am presenting. I am your inner voice in some ways. When you resonate with this channel, you're resonating with what I'm saying, with my ideas, not with me, Michele, the personality. There are ideas here that we're all sharing and we're all congregating around. And I'd like to just keep expanding that. And that's why your voice is so important. If you've never commented before, please say something. Just speak up, whatever it is. We're here to support each other. We're here to come together. This channel is about that. It's about community. It's about support. And ultimately, it's about love. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Is there anything else I want to say? I don't know. Just all the best to you. And couldn't hurt to like this video if you liked it. I know YouTube pays attention to that stuff, and I just want these ideas to get out there. I wish you the best, and I'll see you on the next video.